Hello again. God has made this day and appointed this time for us to be with you, to sing a little, to study a little, to pray a little, and to know that God has given us His best in Jesus Christ. I'll be back in a moment.
Has come, the Lord our God before us now. The risen one enthroned above, still we lift Him high. The old is gone, salvation song, we sing it out. The Lamb of God, slain on the cross, we have overcome. Hallelujah, we have victory. Jesus Christ has won it all. Hallelujah, there's a praise in me. Jesus Christ has won it all.
Well, if you were here on a regular Sunday, about 3,000 or 4,000 people would go up and smoke with that song. So you can do it right there at home. Go up and smoke. I want to read a verse of Scripture to you. It's from the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 38. Read along with me if you will. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be put into your bosom. For with the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. Now, let me tell you why Jesus used that particular verse. As you know, Caesar ruled the world at that time, the known world. And as you also know, Jesus went into a land, his own people, his own brethren, and they did not accept him. And his critics and his enemies did everything they could to try to make Jesus look like a traitor, or that he was against Caesar or the Roman government. So one day, by trickery, they came to Jesus, excuse me, with a coin, and they said, should the followers of you, your people, pay taxes? Should taxes be paid? Jesus, smarter than everybody, said, let me have the coin. He took the coin and he held it up and said, whose inscription is on this coin? And they said, Caesar. Jesus said, then give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give to God what belongs to God. They could not argue with that. That's one of those wise statements that to this day people are amazed. They can't tear it up. They can't break it down. Give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give to God what belongs to God. What does belong to Caesar, by the way? You know the talk these days, especially these days in this country, the talk is about unemployment, employment, the stock market, the ups and downs. And see, all that belongs to Caesar. So Caesar right now is struggling a bit because Caesar gives money, but God gives wealth. And there is a great difference. Caesar's only resource is that which can buy and sell material things. But in God's economy, the currency is faith and obedience. And with those two elements, brother, you can have anything your heart desires according to His will. The Bible teaches us to pay our taxes because we're here right now. This is the world we belong to. We are in it, but we're not of it. But as long as we're in it, we obey the rules. We pay the taxes. We honor the leaders. That's what Jesus taught us to do. He did it Himself. And so when we do that, we are still under the authority of man's government. We have to use Caesar's stuff. But thanks be to God, there is a way we can access the unsearchable riches of Christ. Heaven has no limit to what it can give to those who live by faith. And one of those ways of accessing the vault of glory is to give. Giving makes me wealthy, not rich. See, rich has to do with money and stuff and things, but wealth has to do with assurance and peace and wisdom. Besides that, having all of your needs met according to His riches in glory. That's why the Bible teaches His children, you don't have to worry about anything because your source is not Caesar. Your source is God, who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, the hills that they are on, the globe on which those hills protrude. Entire universe belongs to Him. So I'm telling you today, if you want to understand, and I use that word economy again because that's all I'm hearing these days, listen to how you operate in God's economy. Give, and it shall be given unto you. But when God gives it and gives it back, He says it will be given back in good measure, pressed down, compacted, so that when the time is right, it begins to break up. Kind of like fish food. You drop little particles of fish food in the water. It seems to be only about that big, but when you drop it in the water, it spreads out over the entire surface. That's what that means. When you give to God, God gives it back, and it may seem like just a pellet, but once you drop it there and faith begins to spread it, you have more than you had imagined that you had. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together. Think about that. That means God with both hands is pouring out blessings from heaven, and they converge as they come into your life and running over. He doesn't just give you enough. Jesus said, my Father will give it to you until it runs over, and it will be put into your bosom, not just your wallet. See, I'm blessing myself again. It doesn't just go in your back pocket or in your purse. It goes into your bosom, into your soul, into your heart, into your very being. That's the blessing of God. That's the riches of heaven. That's why giving makes me wealthy. Give, and it shall be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. And Matthew said, shall men give into your bosom. You'll find people blessing you, bringing you things, doors opening, opportunities being presented to you from people. They don't even know why. They don't realize they're the instruments of God. But God will touch somebody and have them bring you this or open this door or offer you that. That's the way God works, simply by giving. And he said the same measure with which you give it out, you get it back. I would encourage you today to be generous. Be kind. Go beyond. Don't be stingy. I've often told the staff, and I've taught my family this. When I go to a restaurant, that waiter is my employee for that moment. And if I treat that person generously as my employee, the way the Lord taught us to do, somehow it comes back to me. They get blessed, I get blessed more. So just remember that. When you have the opportunity to give, don't shut up your bowels of compassion. Be generous, go beyond, and just watch God do the same thing in your life. That was good stuff for today. God bless you until we meet again. Enjoy some more music.
Jesus Christ.